what's the big idea bashing me on the noggin with a rolling pin? Clunk enough people and we'll have a nation of lumpheads.
And now, back to the Big Dumb Fun Show.
Hanging out with the Big Dumb Fun Show. We're here Mondays, 7 to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. My name is Aaron.
I'm Venkman. Ross McGinnis over here as well.
Howdy.
Sitting in for Rena. Honestly, rather have Rena. And Jason B. Hunt also joining us in studio as well. Welcome back to the show, Jason. I got to let you know, first of all, sci-fi4me.com is also on the Facebook, facebook.com, sci-fi, the number 4, me, and you can get all sorts of great nuggets of information, especially if you're a fan of science fiction and whatnot.
Including, we were down at South by Southwest.
You were at South by Southwest?
I was not down there myself, but Jared Crippen.
You had people down there.
I had people down there.
Yeah.
Marvel was down there for the very first time during the interactive part of the festival, and they made the announcement for their new digital comics initiative.
Yeah.
And
this does not surprise me because South by Southwest is so many different things now.
Yeah.
It's
Well, they
very
get a
odd.
music track, they get a film track, they get an interactive track, and actually,
And a comedy track now.
It's getting to be bigger than it probably should. Just like San Diego. San Diego's gotten to be just gargantuanly huge. I think it probably ought to be split out into movies over here, comic books over here.
Well, and there was a mention that they were trying to come up with offshoots like North by Northwest, or North by Northeast, or whatever. They're trying to offshoots, but yeah, the thing is just Austin's got to be loving it. Just so much money it's bringing into the economy, especially at a hard time, but. So you had people down there kind of covering the whole event.
Yeah, well, we had Jared Crippen, who was the season 2 winner of Who Wants to Be a Superhero. It's the reality show with Stan Lee on Sci-Fi.
That's right.
He was down there as our correspondent. He got to interview. Sat in on the Marvel panel, and then got to interview Jeff Loeb, who's head of Marvel Television, and Axel Alonso, who's Marvel's editor-in-chief. And they got to talk about the digital comics that's coming out. It's brand new. They're basically taking the old format of digital comics, doing away with it, and they're saying, okay, using the tablet as our canvas, what can we make these comic books look like? And so now there's layers and there's interactive stuff.
Neat.
And then they've got a
put
new
it
thing
on your iPad or
put
your
it on
Kindle
iPad.
or
Yeah,
something.
Anything Android or iOS. And it's you tap it with a pencil, and it could go from the cover, from the color to all the way down to the pencils, and you could get 3D stuff and holographic stuff. It's part of their augmented reality
that's pretty
stuff.
badass.
It's cool.
Now, is this going to be some reporting? I guess it's featured on the next episode of Comic Con Carne.
We'll probably include some of that. Yeah, the April edition will be out probably first weekend of April. Once we get past Planet Comic Con, then we'll tape the next show. And actually, I'm thinking that April we'll probably start doing some weekly supplements stuff, just because stuff just keeps coming out all the time.
You're going to have like an hour-long webcast.
Yeah, right now it's sitting at 20 minutes, and it's a little
so much information though. But to describe a Comic Con Carne, it's like a news program. It's all about comic books.
Yeah, and you do a search on YouTube. You go to the search bar and you type in comic book news. You get a lot of these little 3-minute, 5-minute shows that are a couple of guys. They're sitting in a comic book shop, or they're sitting in a basement, or it's just a table and a wall. Yeah. And they're saying, here's Captain America something, and here's why you should go buy it.
Yeah.
Our show is a lot more than that. It's basically if you say all of these other guys are Siskel and Ebert, we're Entertainment Tonight. So we've got more in the way of the actual news from the industry, creative teams that are changing.
Like
when the
logo changed. DC.
DC changed their logo. DC's revamped
their. Was that?
It's a terrible logo.
Yeah, it's bad.
There's no reason to do it, except I understand the marketing idea behind it, because they can actually make it interactive on the tablets and the iPhones, and it does stuff now.
Yeah.
Okay, big whoop.
Fine.
It's not going to make me read the books anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that. We look at market numbers. We've got a segment called Ink Tips, which is artists that are in the industry giving advice to people who want to break into the industry. So it's a lot of different stuff, and
is it harder or easier now to break into the comic industry? Because I figured the demand's probably at an all-time high.
It's really not.
No?
No, because our last Joe Jesko, who does a lot of covers, he's been doing stuff for DC and Marvel, and now he's doing some stuff for Dynamite Image. He does painted covers. He does painted art. And he said that if he was starting out now, he wouldn't find any work because a lot of the guys now are doing everything digital.
Oh, yeah.
Marvel is actually really big into everything being digital now. So Photoshop, Paint.
It's probably just cheaper, quicker, faster.
It is, yeah. And you can do more with it in terms of layers and motion comics, and you just break everything out so you can separate these pieces.
Consistency, from panel to panel, I would assume as well.
Yeah. So in terms of whether or not it's easier to break in now, I think if you've got the skill set. Where'd I go?
Oh,
there it is. Where did I go?
I don't know. Switch mics with Ross real quick. That way we can get you.
Is that?
Here, try that.
Is that any better?
That'll work.
Hey,
yeah,
that works. Wow.
Just don't talk into the top of that one either.
I won't break it, really. Now, if you got the skill set that they're looking for, I think, if you got the talent and you've got, what it takes, what they're looking for, you've got just as good a shot to break in now as you did any time during the business.
Yeah, so if the talent is there, then you have just as good a chance as you always had, I guess.
And the X-Men editor, Nick Lowe, from Marvel Comics, is actually going to be at Planet Comic Con reviewing portfolios. So if you're if you're a comic book artist,
you want to get it reviewed.
You
by
want
somebody.
to get it looked at by an editor. He's
not looking to hire. He's just looking to give you tips on your resume.
Yeah. Well, who knows?
Right?
Who knows if he sees something that he likes? Who knows? Maybe you get into a one shot and see what you can do.
It'd be stupid to pass up something like that.
Yeah.
Now your co-host on Comic Con Carne is we share the co-host. So Rena Mehta is also on there, and of course we're friends up on the Facebook. And I saw a posting a couple weeks back, and it said, "Does anybody have access to a?" Now I'm dead. What the hell's going on here?
What?
It said, does anybody have access to a Princess Leia costume? And I'm like, I know exactly where this is going. And
it did.
And it did. It went right there. On the cover of episode 3 there, Rena in the slave Leia outfit. And I was like, oh my God.
Since we are doing a show about comic books, it only makes sense that we actually have a comic book cover as part of our opening animation.
I love that.
So every month we have different comic book art.
I love that Brian Busby was in one.
Yes.
That was so great. Because the first time I saw that, I'm like, that is Brian Busby. What the hell is he doing on the cover?
Yeah, chief meteorologist for Channel 9.
That is great.
He's been in a couple of short films that I've done. We're buddies. And I said, hey, you want to do a bad guy? He's like, yeah, sure.
I would love to.
Yeah.
It's so cool that he's up for stuff like that, He was in that local talent show that we had not too long ago. It was like a Kansas City talent show or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe he's coming up. Hell, I don't know. But we've tried to get him in, but he's on air on Mondays.
Yes, he is.
So we'll have to have him call in sometime and go from there. So I think we need to actually focus on the Comic Con itself.
Yeah.
How about that? When we come back tonight on the Big Dumb Fun Show.